Welcome to Networks and Data Security video number 16. My name is Chris, and in this video we're primarily going to be talking about social engineering and the impact that it's had on security policies. Now you're probably wondering, but Chris, what is social engineering? I'm going to tell you. Social engineering is effectively when a criminal tries to compromise a person instead of their system. This is usually easier to do than develop ways to hack or circumvent the security on a targeted system. Effectively, what happens is this. A criminal decides to target a person who's in a position to give them access to the things that they want. And what they'll do is try and convince this person to trust them, to give them their username and some passwords, or give them access to their computer, which lets them install malicious software that will just in turn steal your username and password. Now again, often it is easier to exploit a person's trust than it is to discover ways to hack a system or software. Now, most of us are targeted almost every day by different attempts and media designed for social engineering, like phishing scams and the Nigerian prince scandal, and when you get emails about how your PayPal account has been suspended, and click here to re-verify your account information and unlock your account. Another one is suspicious emails from your friends. They'll actually come from legitimate senders, from people that you know that are in your contact list, but the email just doesn't seem right. Don't click that link. Don't follow the breadcrumb that they're trying to use to lead you to where they need you to be to install malicious software on your computer. Following these links is usually just a portal. It's a way to draw you in so that they can get access to your system, which in turn gives them exactly what they're after. Now, in some social engineering is actually about creating distrust. It's the use of fear-mongering and paranoia to create a problem out of nothing and then suddenly appear with the solution and answer to be the hero. I think of a certain somebody who got office on those tactics. It's also similar to one of the new scandals with taxes, with the IRS in the States and whatnot, where you'll suddenly get contacted by them to tell you about the arrears that you're in and the legal action coming your way, and make you worry and fear about the legitimacy of the claims and the trouble that you could be in. Once you buy into this, once you believe the story that they've weaved for you, they always offer a way out, a way to avoid disclosure. They take that chance that you are one of those people that made use of a certain website or is in certain kinds of trouble. How to protect yourself from these sorts of situations? Well, there's a few things you can do. Number one, slow down. They want you to act first and think later. They want to give you a flurry of information and scramble you up. They want to distract you and make you feel confused about the situation. The sense of urgency is a key factor here. But much the same as buying a used car. I mean, if you've ever bought a used car, you'll know that after the fact you think back on the conversations you had and you realize, oh man, they were selling it. They were selling me the whole time. And you fell for it. You will fall for it because that's the way it works. That's the way the human mind works. You have to be careful. And until you've been through it once or twice or more, you won't know the signs to look for or the warnings that you need to be careful of, that you need to pay attention to. Research the facts. If you get an email from PayPal saying that your account's suspended due to a suspicious activity, for example, and that activity is for a company that actually, you did make a purchase from them like 1 week ago. Ignore the email. Sign into your PayPal. Review the transactions, because guaranteed, if you get an email from a company, say like PayPal, about suspicious activity on your account, there'll be a message in your PayPal account, a notification. There'll be a suspension notice, something. Don't just take an email at face value and believe it to be truth. The same goes for the cold calls. You have phone calls about problems with your taxes, for example. Take whatever information they're willing to give you. Don't give any of your own out. And phone the CRA or the IRS or whatever body that they happen to be representing. Phone them. You should be able to confirm anything that they're saying if you call the company yourself. When you phone them, you know who you're talking to and you know that you're talking to the right people. If you ever get asked to reply to a message with personal information, it's a scam. No company will ask you for your password or your phone number, your mailing address. No company will ask you by email to verify this information. Legitimate companies and organizations don't just contact you out of the blue and say, hey, are you having trouble with this? Why don't we help you out? That would be nice if they did, but that's not how things work. Don't just take the offer of help from a company as a means of goodwill. It's probably not. The world doesn't work that way. Nobody has the time for that. Much the same goes for charities. If you suddenly get a notice or an email requesting for a donation for a charity, good chances are it's not legitimate. I mean, hey, donate to charity. I think that's a good thing. If that's what you want to do that. That's fine. Google that charity. Do some research on them. Make sure that they're as reputable as you think they are. Don't let the email convince you to donate to the charity, because guaranteed your money's not going to them. Now, all of these different measures are rooted in one foundation here. They're all centered around the use of misdirection. Just over time, experience, what have you, you'll learn to watch out for, and you won't even have to think about it. Second nature to dismiss them. Downloads that don't seem to be on the up and up. All foreign offers are fake. Emails that go directly to spam. Websites that trigger your antivirus, spyware, or malware, or firewall. Pay attention to the signs and warnings around you, to the way that your software is communicating with you. As long as you've got some decent software installed on your machine or on your mobile device, what have you, you're going to be getting prompts and pop-ups about these things. Email filtering is there for a reason. It's especially once the sender has been identified as spam or potentially malicious. It goes to your spam folder directly, immediately, for a reason. Pay attention to this stuff. Now, what impact has social engineering had on the security policies established by organizations? The entire training curriculum, it has been redesigned to include the potential for threats and exploitation of you. In every business situation environment that I've worked in, the training has always included a component about social engineering. They've always made sure to touch on things like spam and the cold calling and the information that we're sending out. You may not even mean to send it out. So a lot of times companies have things set up like MAC address and IP filtering. They have monitoring in place on all network traffic, on phone traffic, so even your conversations, If a breach is identified and data was sent where it shouldn't have been, and they can correlate that with a phone call or with an email that you received or with a link that you clicked in spam, you can get yourself into some serious trouble. The company itself, any liabilities that they suffer financially or reputably are going to come down hard on you if you're the reason that they're in that situation in the first place. And so a lot of times companies have taken great measures to try and make sure that the people are not only aware of social engineering and what it is and how it works, but how to protect against it and how to protect yourself against it. They don't want to see you fall victim and prey to things either. It's not just the companies that's at stake, it's also you as their employee. But you as the general user should also be aware that you're going to get seemingly very, very convincing emails and phone calls. People will use all sorts of ways and tactics to try and convince you that you're at risk or that you're in danger or that you're going to be held accountable for something you didn't do. And the idea of that situation is sometimes enough to scare someone into giving these criminals exactly what they ask for. Awareness, again, being the theme. That wraps things up for video number 16 for Networks and Data Security. Again, my name is Chris, and thanks for watching. But if only I was the last living descendant in a long lineage of Nigerian royalty. I could buy so much pizza with that money.